Senna Indra Bruhaspatihi Senno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayu Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadhishyami Rutam Vadhishyami Satyam Vadhishyami Tanmamavatu Tatvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Santi Shanti Shanti. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Today we will introduce to another drug in the in our health and awareness classes. This drug is called Nitromere. It's a wonderful drug, and it is one of the deep and long-acting homeopathic remedy. Nitromere is basically prepared from the common salt, that we will use it in our daily life, and all of us know that salt in its raw form definitely spoils the health. This is what people say, right? If you take more salt, then you will develop some kind of blood pressure and so many side effects. And also in the olden days, and even now also, you can see in some advertisements, or people still use this salt basically for the toothaches, okay, and for some stomach disorders, uterus disorders, for example, where the blood is oozing out. In such kind of cases, they will give a pinch of salt to them, okay. Especially more vividly, you can see salt is being used when there is a toothache, and in some few years back also, salt is used as, they are preparing, they are using this salt in the toothpaste, right? So some advertisement gives like, in your toothpaste there is a salt, okay. So salt in its raw form, if it is used, then definitely it will spoil the health, okay. If you see some of the items, like if you write these items separately in a table, for example, salt and tamarind, pepper, and chilies, that is capsicum, if you put all of them in one side of the table, and then other side, if you put the vegetables like spinach, bottle gourd, ridge gourd, such kind of vegetables, if you put it on the other side and compare, the vegetables will definitely give you some health, right? It will give you all the necessary ingredients to the body. But on the left hand side, if you just see the common salt, chilies, pepper, okay, asafoetida, such kind of items, they are not intended to give the necessary items to the body, vitamins or something like that, when compared to the vegetables to the body, but they will act like a catalyst in the digestion process of vegetables that we take, right? So why are we adding salt? Salt definitely will give some taste, right? Similarly, some items like chilies, asafoetida, pepper, all these kind of things, they acts like their ingredients acts like a catalyst to our digestion process, as well as provides or adds some kind of a taste to the vegetables that we cook, right? But they are not necessarily the basic ingredients that we can take, okay. So if it is used in a limited manner, definitely they will do some help. But if you take in excess of any of these items, definitely they will give a long term bad effects, okay, in the long term they will definitely give bad effects to the body. Okay, so you have to be very careful, especially when you are using the salt, okay, in excess. So Nitromere is basically prepared from the salt. Okay, salt in its raw form definitely is not a medicine. It will definitely spoil the health, but unless it is potentized, if it is potentized, then definitely it is a wonderful drug. It has a lot of mental symptoms, and it's a beautiful and very good medicine if you potentize this salt. Okay, so Master Ike says that in the he has described about the Nitromere in depth, and he has touched all the aspects. He provided the very good drug picture of this Nitromere, and he says that Nitromere is basically a, a long and deep acting drug which will confront SORA and syphilitic miasms, of course psychotic miasms also. SORA, syphilitic and psychotic miasms it confronts. అంటే మీకు ఎలా చెప్తామంటే సోరా సిఫిలిటిక్ మియాజమ్స్ విపాకములను ప్రతిఘటించగలిగినటువంటి దృఢముగా ప్రతిఘటించగలిగినటువంటి ఔషధములలో నాట్రోమూర్ ఒకటి. ఓకే, సో దట్ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద king of the medicines which can confront these soric and syphilitic and psychotic miasm, but basically its effect is on the soric and syphilitic miasms. Okay, psychotic miasm also it can definitely it can be used, but more it is syphilitic in nature, syphilitic and soric in nature. Okay, so if you wrongly use this salt, then definitely it will spoil the health of our human constitution. Okay, so let us try to describe about the drug picture of this drug Nitromere today. I will try to give some points about this, and let us see the prominent mental symptoms or key symptoms of this drug Nitromere. Okay, yeah, so this is what he says. I have just put one statement here. శరీర తత్వముని ప్రగాఢముగా ప్రభావితము చేసి ఇక తిరగని మార్పులను కలుగజేయును. సో Nitromere, if it is wrongly used, it is a deep and long acting remedy. So if it is wrongly prescribed to the human, to the patients, then it creates very bad effects in his constitution, which cannot be reversed again with any kind of a medicine, let it be a homeopathic or Ayurveda or allopathic. Any kind of medicine if you use, you cannot revert it back if this particular drug is used wrongly on the patient. It creates such kind of bad effects, and you cannot revert it until the body is set into onto the fire. So this is the depth of the drug. Then you can understand how deep it is. That means it has that kind of an effect on the body, and at the same time on the positive side it can also remove so many number of symptoms, deep acting symptoms which are settled in the human body because of the soric and syphilitic miasms. Okay, so basically Nitromere person is syphilitic miasm is basically it's the sad and morose patients. Okay, belongs to the syphilitic miasm, because Nitromere is a drug which is for the sad and morose minded persons. So it has a very strong effect on the syphilitic miasm as well as the soric miasm. Okay, so the key symptoms of these drugs are some of the points are like this. The patient is having lot of or great sadness of mind. Okay, he is always joylessness, and any cheerful circumstances cannot bring him or her into the joyful state. Okay, and he takes the grief easily. Okay, there is no reason for his grief. He always thinks about the future, and he always thinks about he has always negative thoughts about the future. Okay, means for example, he has to get a promotion in another 3 or 4 years. He thinks that he may not get the promotion in the office. Okay, why it has come? Why it will come to me? Because I am doing like this. Situations are like this. That's why it may not come to me. Okay, he always thinks about the future. There is no reason for it. For example, if a person is coming regularly at a specific time to the temple, if he has not come today, every day he is supposed to come, but today he has not come, he feels bad and sad about that same reason. Okay, such kind of very silly reasons are there for his sad and morose mind. And he always he loves to dwell upon these kind of things when he is alone. Okay, he prefers to stay alone, and he always thinks about all these kind of future things, some negative thoughts about the future and about the people. Okay, when some person says in the past about some small word about him, some 3 months back or 6 months back or few days back, he thinks about that, he dwells upon that and keep on thinking about it, and then he slowly getting into the tears. Okay, so such kind of a personality he is. He's always sad. Okay, depressed, morose patient. Okay, so he weeps silently alone. He loves to dwell upon such kind of things. When he is alone, he always thinks about those things, and he loves to think very sad about him, go sad about those kind of incidents. So in life there are some good incidents are there, bad incidents also will be there, but he loves to dwell upon only the bad incidents, and he loves to keep dwelling upon those things, and he will be tearful and he cries silently. He will not be able to express his pain openly in front of others. Okay, silently he cries with all the tears in his eyes. Okay, he prefers to stay alone. Okay, he will not mingle up with other people, though he has some friends, but he always prefers to stay alone. And then he silently thinks and cries upon the past events as well as the future events. Always have negative thoughts about the future. Okay, this is the mental picture of Nitromere patient. So he will not. And one more thing is, if he listens to the music, then definitely it helps him to go little ease. Okay, this is one symptom. And his moods are quite quickly changing, just like in Ignatia. Ignatia is actually a junior to the Nitromere. A chronic patient of Ignatia is Nitromere. Okay, so Ignatia is a junior to a Nitromere. So the Nitromere patient also, he quickly changes his mood. Okay, he doesn't know why he laughs. He doesn't know why he cries. There is no reason for his cry. Okay, he cries and immediately he laughs. Okay, so he laughs. If he laughs, it's a big laugh, because he doesn't know why he laughs big also, and suddenly he may also getting into a different depressed mood also. Okay, so quickly changing moods. Temporarily you can see this kind of symptom in Ignatia, but if it doesn't reduce it, in a chronic drug like Nitromere definitely addresses such kind of symptom in the patients. Okay, and and if you console him or her in such a kind of a state when he is silently crying, then it aggravates. Okay, it aggravates the state of mind. Then he starts crying little bit more. Okay, and then he feels very bad about him. Very deeper thoughts will go in that direction. So it is better to leave him alone when he is in such a state of mind. Okay, and that's why consolation aggravates the state of mind is one of the important symptom. So, and one more thing is important point here is, he always thinks about his own things. That means his own property. Okay, his own promotion, his own materials. Okay, all his own belongings. He doesn't care about others also. He always tries to think about his own things and then keep dwelling upon those kind of things. And he likes self-pity. In the sense, he also a bit for other sympathy. That means he likes others to express the sympathy about his state. That is his state of mind. He expects that others has to feel sympathy about himself, about his state. Okay, so he prefers to have self-pity. That means తన మీద తనే జాలి పడుతూ ఉంటుంటాడు అనమాట. ఓకే, అదర్స్ ఆల్సో he feels that others expresses sympathy about his state. So that is his nature. Okay. And another important point is unrequired affections. I think in one of the class when we were describing about pulsatilla, we said that misplaced affections, if you remember, right? So misplaced affections and unrequired affections is one of the main symptom of the Nitromere. They're very funny. The symptoms are very funny. She or he unable to control his her affections and falls in love with the married men or married women. Okay, um, this kind of affections doesn't have any sexual intentions. It is only because of the sympathy. Okay, for example, let me tell you, if a widow is there and she has some daughters or children, and he thinks that okay, he has to go and marry her and help her to get the children up, and then keeps her happy. Similarly, she also thinks in the same way about the opposite. Okay, so such kind of sympathized love, okay, misplaced affections will be there in the Nitromere patients. Okay, though she knows or he knows it's a foolish thing, but you cannot control it. Okay, she or he cannot control such kind of misplaced affections. So a Nitromere lady simply falls in love with her coachman. Okay, anybody like that. Such kind of unwise things, such kind of misplaced affections will be there with Nitromere patients. Okay, so in our clinic also, in our dispensary also, there we have encountered such kind of patients, and a Nitromere 50m potency definitely turns their mind and sets in order, and then the patients will come back and then they feel shy that why they had such kind of a silly thoughts. There are many such kind of cases where Nitromere helps. Okay, you can find people, girls especially, or boys, they just simply fall in love with some Facebook friends, and simply they go deeper into their thoughts and relation. Okay, such kind of cases belongs to the Nitromere. You can handle such kind of cases with Nitromere drug. Such a deep acting drug Nitromere is. Okay, and another symptom of Nitromere is patients they cannot socialize. Okay, though they have friends, they will have less friends, but their interaction will be limited. Okay, they cannot socialize and feels that somebody is watching them always. Okay, this is one of the mental symptom that you can remember. If somebody is waiting for them in the balcony, in their drawing room, they feel very much uncomfortable. Okay, if they are inside, somebody is waiting for you, why don't you come, means they can't complete their work if they are in some work in between. Okay, similarly, if they went to the new places, okay, they will not be able to they will not be able to pee, okay, in new places, because they feel very much uncomfortable. They have to wait long time for for urination. Okay, such kind of symptoms are there with Nitromere patients. Okay, that means he is always have such kind of a depressed mind and sad mind and sorrowful mind, always has tears in his eyes and prefers to stay alone. These are the key symptoms of the Nitromere patients. Okay, and one more important thing is he develops the craveness for salt. Okay, he likes salt. You would have observed some children or some elders or any middle-aged people and all, whatever the whatever the tasteful things that are there in his plate to eat, they will simply, first of all, they will simply go and then put their finger on the salt and then they lick the salt. Okay, they eat the salt. So such kind of they develop craveness, they develop to eat the salt. Okay, so there is another drug in the same way, which is called argentum nitricum. They craves for sugar. Okay, argentum nitricum people craves for sugar. Nitromere patients craves for salt. Okay, so yeah, so on the right hand side, if you see a picture, he always thinks about negative things in the future, and he will be in the melancholy. Okay, you cannot bring him back into the joyful state, whatever may be the cheerful circumstances you create. These are all the important things to remember to identify or to distinguish a person among the remaining patients, that he is a Nitromere patient. Okay, so he eventually develops a lot of misery. That means because he has always negative thoughts about the future, so some kind of a misery also is sets in his mind, whether he can do it or not, whether he can do it or not. Such kind of inconfidence, okay, will develop in his mind. And slowly he will lose interest in the future or in his life also. That means joyful, the creativeness, ideas and all will simply slowly coming down in him. He loses the interest in life. It is not suicidal tendency, but interest on anything in life to do, he will lose that kind of he will lose that interest on life. Okay, some of the examples we can just see that. Yeah, this is about Nitromere patient. Next slide. Other important symptoms are he greatly disturbed by the excitement and he's extremely emotional. Okay, Nitromere patients are very emotional. Okay, as said before, very emotional, and they can easily go into the grief, and they are also very sensitive to sound, very sensitive to sound, just like arsenic album, such kind of drugs. They are very sensitive to sound. Okay, for example, if a door is slammed, okay, if a calling bell is ringing, or if a cell phone alarm is actually coming up, so the patient, the person who is an Nitromere patient definitely disturbs a lot, and he eventually develops the headache because of that sound. Okay, so when okay, so this is one of the also a mental symptom. That means he is very extremely sensitive about the sound. Okay, and another point is also extremely forgetful, very much forgetful. For example, when a professor or when some persons actually giving a lecture in the class, they may go into different kind of aspects by explaining a point, and then suddenly they forget about where exactly they are, and they keep asking about the students, where am I, what is that we are discussing now. Somebody has to remember him that, sir, we are discussing that point, so that the discussion has ended up here. So you have to bring him back and then place him in that at that point, then the lecture can continue. Okay, this is the state of mind. You can often see such kind of incidents, right? And similarly, telephone numbers, similarly the names of the person, suddenly they can't remember, they forget. So he forgets a lot of, extremely forgetfulness will be there, and he will not be able to do also small calculations. Children, they are not good at math. Okay, they always do some kind of mistakes when they are doing small calculations and accounts work. Okay, even small additions and subtractions also you can find lot of mistakes when in their work. Okay, so they are forgetful, and they will not be able to do such kind of math problems also. Small problems also they cannot be able to, because the continuity of thought will break. Okay, so the thought process will not be continuous. Okay, suddenly in between the thought process will cut, and then they go somewhere else and then come back, they don't know where they are. So this kind of thought process cut leads to such kind of miscalculations and then forgetfulness. Okay, so this is one of the important symptom in the Nitromere patients. So so these are the things that you must remember about the Nitromere, and it's a very deep acting drug, and in the bottom, it's a wounded heart builds psychological walls for the protection. Actually, the term mur is nothing but, in the French word, it is nothing but called as a wall. So he always builds walls around him. That means he prefers to be alone and silent, undisturbed, and then he keep on, he went into the depression and sad and moroseful. Okay, so such kind of person is Nitromere, right? So So if you look at the modalities, that means we call it as in Telugu, Deha Dharma Vaikharalu. That means how the patient is. First and foremost point is Nitromere patients are their face. By looking at when they are coming to you, you can see their face. Okay, their face is oily face. Okay, waxy, greasy, and oily face. You can easily distinguish the face. Okay, pale and shiny face also. So this is the first and foremost symptom that you can see. The other drugs also has this kind of symptom, especially Tuja. Okay, Tuja patients and Nitromere patients, their face is oily and greasy face. Okay, so and also shiny and pale face. Okay, pale lips. You can see that patient, and he is thin also. And yeah, so he covered with vesicular eruptions around the edges of the hair and ears and back of the neck. You can see some people develops that along the hair edges they will develop some kind of eruptions which has some liquid. Okay, whitish fuzz will form around this around the haircut. Okay, around the hair, the line of that haircut develops some kind of eruptions with, we call it as a vesicular eruption. It means the skin disease with some kind of water. If you simply just scratch it, water will oozes out from that particular skin allergy. Okay, such kind of vesicular eruptions will be there in the body, in the sense wherever there are small like for example in the nose, in the nose and face places. Okay, similarly in the armpits. Okay, similarly in the legs, in between the fingers, similarly in between the anus. Okay, they find such kind of skin eruptions with fluid in it. Okay, here one more important point that you should remember is all the discharges of the skin diseases in Nitromere is whitish. Okay, it is like in Telugu we call it as ganjilaga untundanamata. And it is like a water small fluids filled with some sac will be always there in the skin diseases or allergy. So you can see that those kind of eruptions will be there on the skin. So this is one symptom of Nitromere. And their complaints when they go out in the hot sun, generally Nitromere patients are when they go out of the sun, when they go into the sun, definitely they develop some headache. Okay, we can often hear such kind of symptoms. When I go outside in the hot sun, definitely when I comes back, I develop the headaches. And my skin also, it's like a piercing kind of an itch will develop when they go into the sun. Especially their headaches will be morning, it starts around 10 a.m. and it is severe between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Their headaches are, they feel like a hammering headaches. So they feels like the skull is crushed between the two things. Okay, such kind of a headaches Nitromere patients will have. Okay, and they likes the open air. When they go to the open air, the mental symptoms also gets a little bit relief. This is one important things. Headaches and skin symptoms, they will aggravate when they expose it to sun. Okay, their face is greasy, waxy and oily face. And second important thing is when they expose it to the sun, they develop such kind of symptoms, headaches basically. And another important symptom is they feel vertigo. Okay, so the moment they just sit down in the chair or when they get up from the chair, for a moment they feel like their eyes are rolling. Okay, their head is rolling. This is a vertigo feeling. Okay, so when they close the eyes, momentarily they feel this vertigo. Okay, here another important drug that you should remember is for the vertigo is conium. Conium is also an important drug which has a huge vertigo. So the moment their head touches the pillow, they feel that vertigo will be there. It's complete vertigo, they feel like rolling around. So but in the Nitromere, it is only a momentarily vertigo when they closes the eyes sometimes, and when they stand from the chair, momentarily simply they feel that such kind of vertigo feeling. Okay, and also in kind of a in case of the chronic patients of Nitromere, sometimes the patient also may go momentarily momentarily into a consciousless less state. Okay, they don't know what happens around, they simply fell down, and then within 5 or 10 minutes again they get up, they didn't remember what happens to them. Okay, such kind of things also it will leads. Okay, and another important thing is Natromore patient is he's hyperactive in thoughts. Okay, his thinking, he is very fast. He the moment he closes, because he always thinks about so many number of ideas will keep coming, thoughts can keep on coming to him. So the speed of thought is very high. Okay, here there is an important medicine, we call it medicine is there, lachesis. Okay, so lachesis also has the same speed of thought. Okay, he's also intelligent guy, like Natromore guy. He's also intelligent. His thoughts are very speed and hyperactive in thoughts. But the only difference between the lachesis and Natromore is lachesis person keep on talking about so many number of things, unconnected things. He keep on talking with the people around. But Natromore person will not speak because he always prefers to be silent and alone. Okay, so you can compare these two drugs with Natromore patient is like a television is on. Okay, keep on things are going on in the television, but there is no sound is mute. Okay, but in the lachesis it's like a telex machine. He keep on talking about so many number of his thoughts with rest of the people. So there is a difference between lachesis and Natromore, though their thought process and they are very hyperactive in their thoughts and moods. There is a difference. Okay, Natromore patient always prefers to be silent, but a lot of thought process is there in his mind going on. He keep on dwelling upon so many things in future, about the future and past. And these kind of patients also will have, often they develop the double vision. Okay, the same item can be seen as two items. Double vision they may have blurred vision, especially in the morning, because Natromore symptoms will start in the morning and ends in the evening. Okay, so early morning some people complain that it is not, some people complain that they can't even read the newspaper because all the letters are blur. Okay, it is not because of the eyes, or it is not because of the eyeglasses. Okay, eyeglasses are perfect, there is no problem at all, but in the early morning they feel such kind of a blurred vision, especially in the early morning. Okay, and they will have double vision also. So these are the symptoms sometimes you can find in the Natromore patients. And another important point is they feel some electric shocks, occasional electric shocks. The moment they are about to sleep, they feel that some kind of jerks in their body. Okay, without their consciousness, some jerking will be there in their arms or in their legs, and electric shocks will be there. It's like just applying some kind of a small voltage to him, small current. If you just make him touch a wire, then how he feels, such kind of an electric shock also they can feel. So Natromore patients, they know pretty well about this kind of a shock. Okay, and the moment they go into the sleep, such kind of electric shock and jerkings will be there, all and some parts of the body. Okay, so on the right hand side you can see the clinical and general symptoms, like the important one point that I told you, that they can't pee if others are around in the sense, if somebody is there waiting somewhere, outside, and they are inside, they went inside, and then they feel like modesty. Okay, they have to attend because they can't do any other work if they feel that somebody is watching them or somebody is waiting for them. This is one symptom. And lower back pain, one important thing is the headaches. Headaches is very intense headaches. Sometimes the headaches will be on the back also. It will just simply go onto the spinal cord, and then the entire back will bothers the patient. The total back, lower back pain also he will develop from the head onwards. Okay, and they like very salty and sour foods more. They like the salty nuts and salty foods, and all their discharges are very whitish discharges, just like a diluted white. A diluted white, for example, it's like a egg. Okay, egg white. If you dilute the egg white, how it is, all the discharges are like this. Even a middle-aged persons or an old patients, if you see, their male genitals also will keep on oozing out constantly such kind of a white discharge, okay, with a bad smell, okay, even in the male as well as the female cases, both, okay. And yeah, so such kind of some of the symptoms are there in this picture. And in his suitcase you see that dwells on past grief and humiliation, emotional baggage. So he always carries such kind of things on his head, or carries always with his hand wherever he goes. He always feels to prefer stay alone, okay. And and some other modalities are yeah, so gradually Nitromere patients, he loses the creative and intuitional thinking, okay. In this sense, he was very good since last 10-15 years. He was very good at organizing the things in the office or his own establishments. He can able to take care, and very efficiently. He was a very efficient worker. But gradually after 15 years or and so, he has loses that kind of a creative thinking. That means you can see people, if they wanted to, if they have some kind of a work, they intentionally postpone the things. That means, yeah, I can do it, I will do that, I will do this, okay, because they keep on thinking about the same work instead of implementing the work, okay. They keep on thinking about the work till last minute, and in the last minute they say that yes, I will have to do this work, then they starts it. But by the time they starts, the time is getting over, and obviously the things will not go successfully, okay. So he waits till the last minute, and then he initiate doing the things at the last minute. This is one of the symptom you can observe in the Nitromere patients. Because why he does the things at the last minute? Because he keep on dwelling on the thoughts. He's busy in his thought process about the same thing, how to do, and what to do, where to contact, all these kind of things he thinks, but he will never implement it till last minute, okay. So he doesn't have control on the thoughts, okay. Nitromere has an intense grip on the intellect of the person. So it will grips the intellect of the person, and it kills finally. This is the one of the characteristics of the Nitromere, okay. Nitromere patient, no doubt he is very intelligent person, but his thought process is very hyperactive, and too many number of thoughts, and he can't control the thoughts. They keep on coming into his mind and then go away, okay. It is unrequited thoughts only. He cannot control them, he can't stop thinking about it. That is the state of the mind of a Nitromere patient, okay. Another important thing is their sensory organs, okay. We have 5 sensory organs, all of you know about it. This is vision, hearing, taste, smell and touch. So all these sensory organs, they slowly lose their functionality, okay. You can observe that in the females, they will lose eventually the smell sensation, okay. They can't smell, okay. And similarly some kind of a deafness also they develop. So either all the 5 sense organs, or at least 2 or 3 sense organs, their functionality cribbles, okay. Sometimes they can't hear 2 or 3 hours, they can't hear anything, but it may come again, and it may go, okay, initially, and slowly some kind of a deafness they develop it, okay. Losing of the smell, losing of the hearing function, these kind of things develops in the Nitromere patients eventually, okay. And another more important thing is their touch feeling. That means a Nitromere patient slowly develops, his skin is not sensitive to the hotness. For example, if he goes for a bath inside the bathroom, previously the water that he uses may not be that much hot, but gradually he needs more and more hot water, okay, for his comfort. Even though if you put more hot water, he feels that he wants something more, okay. That means his skin loses the sensation for the hotness, okay. This is one of the symptom that you can find in the Nitromere patients. So the sensory organs, gradually they lose their functioning. This is an example that I am just mentioning to you. Another symptom is sourness in the throat, okay. For kids, or for the people who are in 20s and 30s, or maybe a little bit less, they feel that in the early morning. Okay, so when they are washing their mouth in the early morning, they omit such kind of a sour liquid from the sour liquid. They call it as it may be because of the previous day food, but sour liquid they omit. ఓకే, పసర వాంతులు అంటాం అన్నమాట తెలుగులో. సో అవి ఎక్కువగా వస్తూ ఉంటుంటాయి వాళ్ళకి. ఓకే, సో ఆల్ ద డిశ్చార్జ్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో వైటిష్ డిశ్చార్జ్ విల్ బి దేర్. ఈ వాంతులు కూడా పసర వాంతులు కూడా చాలా వైటిష్గా వస్తుంటాయి అన్నమాట. పుల్లటి తేన్పులు వస్తుంటాయి, పుల్లగా ఉంటుంటుంది గొంతులో, ఎప్పుడు కూడా పుల్లగా వాసన వేస్తూ ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. సో వాట్ ఎవర్ ద థింగ్స్ దట్ హీ omits always smells like very sour for him. Okay, this is a symptom of Nitromere. Yes. So another important symptom is he weeps if he receives relatives and friends. Yeah, this is a distinct symptom in Nitromere. For example, if your relatives came from long distance to see you, okay, after long time, then what happens in a normal healthy person, we will receive them with lot of affection. But Nitromere patient, definitely he weeps on seeing them. We don't know the reason why he is weeping, right? Especially you can find out such kind of a symptom people develop just before, for example, if he is going, that is a symptom that he is going to get a paralysis or a brain stroke. Okay, so these are this kind of symptoms that they develop. Even the people suffers with paralysis, if somebody comes and then visits them, they feel they immediately develop in such kind of a weep. Okay, they weep a lot. Okay, when they receives the friends from the long distance or relatives from the long distance, there is no reason. Here one important drug that you must definitely remember, lycopodium. Okay, so lycopodium patient also has a similar kind of symptom that he weeps, okay, when he receives the friends from the long distance. And another important thing in lycopodium is, if you praise him that such a person is a very great person, he has done so much of good in public, if you praise him, if you call him and then reward him, then definitely he weeps. Okay, so this is very funny. He weeps when he praises, when he gets praises, okay, from the remaining people. That is an important symptom in lycopodium. In lycopodium also, patient also will weep. Nitromere patients, they weeps when they receive friends or relatives from the long distance. Okay, so before a patient develops the paralysis in 10 years, this is one tendency. The weeping tendency will be there in the Nitromere patients. Okay, some other important symptoms are he will have lot of thirst. He develops lot of thirst and heaviness in his head and eyes. Okay, people say that lot of heaviness is there in the head. Okay, and when they drink water in large quantities because they are very thirsty, just like in bryonia. So bryonia patients are very thirsty, right? In the same way, Nitromere patients also, they have a lot of thirst and they develop the heaviness in the head as well as in the eyes. Okay, so Nitromere and bryonia, definitely they are both are complementary medicines. You can give bryonia, if not probably Nitromere eventually, but I will come to the point when Nitromere has to be prescribed little bit later. Let us park that aside. And remaining symptoms are another important symptom is when we go for a long journey in the car, in a bus journey or in the flight, what we will do, we'll simply keep our legs hanging and then travel. Okay, so if such kind of a long time hanging on the legs, Nitromere patients develop some kind of a swelling in their foot. Okay, so ఇక్కడ కాళ్ళ గుత్తులు ఉంటాయి కదా, పాదాలు, అవన్నీ కూడా ఎలా ఉంటాయంటే ఉబ్బరిస్తూ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. అంటే బాగా స్పాంజీగా తయారవుతాయి. they looks like spongy. They develop some kind of water in their foot and the lower limbs of the body. It is because of the circulation of the liquids inside the body. Okay, so they easily develop their legs like a swelling in their legs if they travel for a longer journeys in the car or a bus or a flight journey. Okay, slowly their stomach also becomes puffy. Their stomach is also filled with lot of gas and then they feel very puffy stomach. So and because of the dropsical condition of the liver, gradually they develop. Because of this, these kind of situations will arise. Okay, similarly their skin, Nitromere has lot of skin symptoms. Important skin symptom is wherever there is a small pricking of the itching, the kind of pricking, okay, itch will be there in the entire body on the skin. Okay, the skin becomes reddish wherever you scratch. It's not only a particular area. In the entire area, they develop such kind of a itching on the skin. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు తెలుగులో ఏమంటామంటే చర్మం అంతా కూడా చీమచీమలు ఆడుతూ ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. అంటే చీమ కుట్టినట్టుగా సన్న చీమలు కానీ మన శరీరం మీద పాకుతూ ఉంటే ఎలా ఉంటుందో, just he will just open the shirt and then he will just see that okay, some ants are there. He feels like that and he scratches, and then he develops some kind of reddishness on the skin, and constant itch will be there. He keeps on గోకుతూ ఉంటాడు అన్నమాట స్కిన్ అంతా కూడా. This is another symptom of Nitromere. And another symptom is the muscles, the calf muscles or the muscles of the body, slowly they will turn unintentionally, and then they give some kind of a pain. It may be during the sleep, or it may be when you are sitting, or when you are sitting idle or just relaxing it. So అంటే మన దేహంలో ఉండేటువంటి కండరాలన్నీ కూడా ఇలా మెలితిరిగిపోతూ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. మెలితిరిగిపోతూ కొంకరపోతూ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. అంటే అవి స్టిఫ్ అయిపోతూ ఉంటాయి. Another important drug here with the same symptom is causticum. Okay, causticum also has such kind of a symptom. Unintentionally the muscles of the body become stiff, and then they changes their shape momentarily, and then you have to struggle to bring them back again. Okay, and they give pain also, and అదే కొంకర్లు పోవడం అంటాం కదా, అటువంటి సిమ్టమ్ నాట్రోమ్యూర్లో కూడా ఉంది. కాస్టికమ్ కూడా another important drug with the same kind of a symptom. You need to see whether the patient is a causticum patient or whether the patient is a Nitromere patient. Okay, Nitromere patient means immediately you can definitely prescribe the drug, provided if the mental symptom matches. Causticum symptoms, generally causticum is useful for the old people. Okay. And one more symptom you can identify is their legs. Okay, their legs, కాళ్ళు ఎలా ఉంటాయంటే అవి ఉబ్బరించిన తర్వాత నిగనిగలాడిపోతుంటాయి. దే షైనీ their skin is shiny. Okay, their legs, their hands are shiny. చాలా నిగనిగలాడిపోతే పాలిష్ చేసినట్టుగా నిగనిగలాడిపోతూ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. స్కిన్ అంతా కూడా వాస్తుంది, స్వెల్లింగ్ విల్ బి దేర్, as at the same time it will be very shiny. You can immediately catch the attention, oh, it is shiny legs, and there is a swelling on the legs. Such kind of things Nitromere patients will have. Whenever you see such kind of a patient, just remember this drug, whether he belongs to the Nitromere or not. He likes salt, his face is pale or not. Okay, you can just say, if you remember these kind of mental symptoms, you can simply see that, oh, definitely he belongs to Nitromere. He develops the Nitromere symptoms. Okay, you see such a wonderful drug it is, and all these are the symptoms of if you potentize the common salt. Nobody can even imagine that common salt can do such kind of wonders. Okay, it can treat all such kind of symptoms. It's a wonderful drug if you potentize the common salt. If you don't potentize, if you eat it in the raw form, at the same time it will not act as a medicine, but it spoils the health of the person. Okay, such a deep acting drug Nitromere is. Okay, so these are the modalities, some modalities that I captured. The Nitromere drug picture is a very big, it has quite a big drug picture. It is difficult to capture describe all the drug picture in one session. It can take next session also. Before we closes up this session, I would like to remind one important point. When we prescribe the Nitromere, is very important. Okay, especially a person feels headache, or if he goes out of the sun, okay, hot sun, and then come back, he feels headache. Sometimes he get a sunstroke also. Nitromere is definitely a drug for the sunstroke. Okay, this heavy thirst and headache and then fever, such kind of things, definitely Nitromere is the drug. But you can never directly apply the Nitromere onto the patient. That means if a person has a sunstroke, if you give Nitromere directly to him, definitely that person will die. Okay, there are quite lot of chances that it will aggravate the symptoms, and depending on the constitution, if he cannot tolerate such kind of things, then he may die also. So you should never prescribe directly, you can never give directly this Nitromere drug to the patient when he is suffering, especially. For example, if bryonia, if you take, if the person has a headache, if a person has developed some kind of a chillness and fever and head heaviness and lazy, lot of thirstiness is there due to the travel or something else, then definitely you can give Bryonia 200 or Bryonia 30 depending on the level of the symptoms. Okay, but if you give Nitromere for the patient directly, it will have a undesirable effect. You should never describe Nitromere directly to the patient. Okay, you should first of all handle this such kind of a symptoms with Bryonia or such kind of other medicines. Then once if they come down, then you realize that this patient is a Nitromere patient, then you can prescribe the Nitromere drug to prevent such kind of attacks in future. Okay, but it will act very deeply and it will never allow such kind of occasions to occur again and again. Okay, so never use Nitromere in direct situations is one of the important point that we should remember. Okay, there are only two situations that you can apply Nitromere. One is in the case of a sunstroke, you can definitely use Nitromere, but Nitromere 6x tablets, a salt, can be diluted. 10-15 tablets you can dilute in a 2 or 3 ounces of water. Of course, chlorinated water definitely should not be used. It can be a well water or a warm water. Okay, first boil the water and then make it little bit cold, and then in that just mix 10 to 15 tablets of Nitromere and then keep giving to the patient for every 10 minutes. Okay, definitely the patient will have some kind of a relief. Okay, so this is one situation where you can directly use the Nitromere, only 6x, not more than that. There is a second situation, okay, where you can use the Nitromere directly. The second situation is in the case of a misplaced and unrequired affections. Okay, so for example, the example is like this: a 65 or 70 years old lady, okay, gets in love with a young person, probably a 25 or 30 years, which is not at all a reasonable thing. Okay, she feels that she develops such kind of an affection on him and keep on spending her money on him. Okay, whenever they meet, because of the affection. Okay, such kind of a misplaced affection, so others will take advantages of it, and then gradually they snatch a lot of money from them and everything from them. You might have read such kind of cases in the newspaper and the TVs, many cases, right? Young girls getting in love with a already married person, such kind of cases, right? This kind of misplaced affections, Nitromere can be given directly. Okay, the potency of the Nitromere, definitely you can give Nitromere 50 m or in cm potency, not in the lower potencies. It won't work in that kind of a deepest mental. It's a deep-seated mental symptom. So there you can use definitely Nitromere 50 m or above or a cm potency. Then definitely it will reorder his or her mind back, and then it makes them feel shy about why they indulge into such kind of things. It's very, very, very important drug in such kind of situations. So these are the two situations where you can use Nitromere directly. Okay. Other than that, you need to wait till the symptoms, the immediate aggravation settles down, and then you can prescribe the Nitromere. Okay. There are other symptoms, especially if related to the women and the men, women, and many of the other symptoms are also there. We will explain about those kind of symptoms in the next session. And also there are a lot of connections with the other drugs. Okay, Nitromere with the lachesis, Nitromere with the how deeper is Nitromere. Master EK says that describes Nitromere is one of the junction medicine. That means it is a junction. That means when you are not able to find, when you are able to see that the symptoms of the patient is a mix of syphilitic, psychotic and soric miasms, and whatever the medicines that you are giving is temporarily working but coming back, then you can definitely think about Nitromere, because it is one of the junction medicine. Pulsatilla is also one of the strong medicines. Pulsatilla acts, there are some kind of junction medicines. One is Naxomica, Pulsatilla, Lycopodium, Nitromere. These four are very important drugs which we call them as junction medicines. That means 2 or 3 miasmatics mixes, and the symptoms are mixed symptoms. Okay, it is like a bigger bus stand where so many number of patients keep on coming with different kind of symptoms, just like that. Imagine like that. So these are all junction medicines. Pulsatilla acts more deeper than the nux vomica, but Nitromere acts more deeper than Pulsatilla. Okay, so Nitromere is a chronic of Pulsatilla. Okay, you can also think like that, because there is a difference. Pulsatilla patient, you have to simply make him, you can make him laugh, you can make him cry. But Nitromere patient, you don't need to make him cry, he always cries on his own. That is a difference. Such kind of differences, similarities you can find out, find differences you can find out between the drugs. That means the relationship between the drugs, you can compare it, and then what are the complementary drugs to the Nitromere also we can discuss, and some other additional symptoms which are important also we can cover related to the women. Okay, so probably in the next session we will continue this Nitromere drug, because it has a very deep and long acting drug. It has a big drug picture, and it's a very deep and long acting medicine. Okay, so the sources of this preparation is from basically Homeo Sarira Granodipika by Master E.K. Master E.K. has described this drug in very depth. So many examples he has given in that book, and of course the Kent Materia Medica is also very useful and original material that you can always refer for the symptoms of this Nitromere. Okay, so with this we will end today's session. If you have any questions, you can ask me on this Nitromere. Yes, if a person gets headache, sunstroke symptoms, correct, Nitromere cannot be given directly to him. You have to just give only Nitromere 6x or 12x, mix them in the water, in a warm water, and then you keep giving him every 10 minutes. Okay, don't give him Nitromere 30 or 200 at that time. Okay, any other questions you have, you can post. Probably in the next session we will meet at the same time on this drug. We will just again recollect what we just shared today in next session, and then also some additional information we can discuss on Nitromere. Okay, so okay. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaah gobrahmanebhya suvamastu nityam lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu. Lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. ओम शांति शांति शांति.